there folks, I'm Eric Osberg and this is The Outdoor Report. Today's episode is called Pike Week, a celebration of this often overlooked and underappreciated species. We believe that pike are ferocious predators, great fighters, and pretty good table fare. We're gonna start by joining a couple captains from Rainydaze Guide Service in search of big pike.
Beautiful fish.
Then we're gonna introduce you to Paul Sparks, a gentleman whose passion for spearing pike has turned into works of art. Plus, we're gonna show you that pike aren't just for grown-ups anymore, kids love them too. All that and another savory goodness segment coming right up here on The Outdoor Report.
The Outdoor Report is brought to you by Fishin' Style. It's more than just a fish house, it's a lifestyle. Northview Bank. You find it, we'll finance it. Little Falls Tourism. Where the Mississippi pauses, discovery begins. Smoothie's Sunflower Oil and Chef Robert's Gourmet Breading Mix. Brainerd International Raceway. Lakes Jam. Summer starts here in the Brainerd Lakes area. Power Lodge, Ranger Boats, and Evinrude. Ottertail Lakes Country. Find your inner otter. Yamaha Generators. Revs your heart. Excel Outdoors. Organize your life outside. Catch Cover hard-nosed fish house products. And JT Custom Rods.
The Northern Pike season never closes along much of the Minnesota-Canada border. This spring, we hooked up with Chuck Coombe and Trent Einechner of Rainydaze Guide Service to find out how they hunt down big pike. We focused on shallow bays as post-spawn northerns are on the prowl for an easy meal.
Right now we're only in a few feet of water, less than 3 feet. We're tossing out stick baits. These are suspending baits, so I'll cast them, pull them up, twitch them, let them sit just under the water, and then pull them again. When they're in here, they're really aggressive, so they're gonna hit these baits, they hit them hard.
Although this wasn't a true trophy, we were off to a pretty good start. Trent had the hot hand early, and even though these weren't quite the fish we were looking for, it was still a pretty good battle. When you're targeting big fish, having the right tools for the job is important. You want to make sure you get the fish back in the water as quickly as possible. So Chuck and Trent always have a jaw spreader and a pair of pliers nearby.
They're like the water wolf. A lot of teeth and they eat everything.
Another key factor is having the right leader. Trent explains how he prepares for a day of battling toothy critters.
We go directly to the bait and then crimp it on. I use 60-pound Berkeley Vanish fluorocarbon leader, and then I use these little mini sleeves, that way they weigh less and don't weigh the front of the end of the bait down as much. Then the other end, just have a heavy duty swivel. These are 130-pound test swivel. That's crimped on the other end. And I actually build these ends up ahead of time and cut my leaders all to length. So I had about 20 of them made up before we started the trip. So when I need one, I can just grab the swivel end, pull it out, put the line back in the other end of the sleeve, crimp it, and we're back in action right away.
The smallmouth bass season is open year-round on Rainy as well, and there are some giants who are just as willing to play ball as the pike.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got a nice one, Chuck? Oh yeah, bigger. Might be a bass, I don't know. Oh, bass. Is it? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh. Look at that little beast. That's a beauty. That's worthy of a net there. Thanks, boss. Rainy Lake is a premier smallmouth lake in this area. We got a lot of structure for it. I mean, the feed is phenomenal, and these things grow really fast and really big. They put up a really good fight.
We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll find out if we can land the pike we came up here for. Stay tuned.
The Outdoor Report is brought to you by Fishin' Style and Northview Bank. Fish houses aren't just for ice fishing anymore. There's a reason to own one year-round. Firebrand features a durable, lightweight aluminum frame and all the comforts of home. Whether you're camping, hunting, or ice fishing, Firebrand has a model to fit the entire family. Firebrand, the hottest brand on the ice.
Thanks for bringing us to your cabin. It's so beautiful, and what a cute dog.
Yeah, I love this place. We better get out of here.
Hey, what are you doing on my property? What's with the neighbor's dog?
Need your own vacation property? You find it, we'll finance it. Northview Bank, northviewbank.com.
In the heart of Minnesota exists a place overflowing with discovery. Whether you're biking the trails, wetting a line, or just soaking it all in, Little Falls is the perfect getaway. Tradition abounds in historic downtown and at the Minnesota Fishing Museum. Little Falls, where the Mississippi pauses, discovery begins.
The Outdoor Report is brought to you by Little Falls Tourism, Lakes Jam, and Brainerd International Raceway.
We're on Rainy Lake with Chuck Coombe and Trent Eichner of Rainydaze Guide Service. We're throwing stick baits in shallow bays looking for post-spawn pike, and we found them.
Oh, that's a nice one. That's what you're looking for.
Get him up here, get him taken care of.
That's a beast.
Got through all the small fish, finally found a big one in amongst them.
You got her?
Yeah.
That's a beaut. Good job.
Gave a good fight once it realized it was hooked. She swam out towards the boat. Thought it was another small fish till we got a look at it. And then we had to make a last second scramble for the net. But beautiful fish.
These are memories that last a lifetime. People come up here for a dream trip like this. Trent happens to spank a really nice one. Wonderful.
When you do run into trophy pike, it's best to practice catch and release. But those 2 to 4 pound fish, they can be great eaters. But cleaning a pike can be difficult.
All right,
Good job.
let's get another one.
So we asked Chuck how he handles those pesky Y bones.
And what you're doing is taking your fillet knife and you're going about 1/8 inch on the high side of them. And as soon as you feel bones underneath there, you're rotating your knife. So you're gliding right over the Y bones. You can see them all laying in here. And then your next step is you're coming back down on your lateral line on the inside. And then as soon as you make the cut down about halfway, rotate your knife and then glide it underneath the bones. And you should be able to see your fillet knife under your top section here. So it's coming through. So you're not wasting a lot of meat. And just kind of gently pull it. Now all your bones are out.
Rainy Lake is an expansive body of water, and that's half the fun of it. It's a place where you can disconnect from the hustle and bustle and reconnect with Mother Nature.
It's just a fabulous all-around lake. And the beauty around here, I mean, the Canadian Shield rock, pine trees, eagles, deer, moose, occasional bears. It's just a great place to live, great place to fish.
You know, you fish for miles of shoreline without seeing a house or a cabin. And the fishing obviously is great, whether it's, you know, my favorite walleyes or pike, bass, muskie, crappies. And you can get trophy class fish in any of those species in this lake too. It's just a matter of, you know, if you happen to be lucky enough to get them, but they're all in here and they're all very catchable.
In all, we caught a little over 50 fish that day, and while we didn't top 40 inches, that gives us a perfect reason to come back. One of our favorite things about Northerns is there's lots of ways to get them. In Minnesota, one of the ways is by spearing them through the ice. Spearing pike is a tradition that dates back hundreds, if not thousands of years. The sport was once on the decline, but it's making a comeback in a pretty big way. Meet Paul Sparks, a humble man who just happens to be an artist.
I'm just a spear fisherman. I make decoys, I sell decoys, but the bottom line is I'm a spear fisherman.
Paul's basement is where he spends a lot of his free time, crafting functional works of art.
They're not just, hey, it's a nice looking fish. If it's got an eye in it and it's mine, it's gonna swim.
He's not in it for the money, because like many of us, he'd rather be fishing, or in this case, spearing.
Because if you sat down and figured out what I sell them for and how much time I got in, I don't want to know I'm working for a penny an hour.
Come winter, this is Paul's home away from home, peering through a portal into an underwater world.
It's nothing to see a 5-pound bass, and I know water distorts them, but I know what a 5-pound bass looks like. And the walleyes coming through, most walleye fishermen are fishing them in 17 feet of water. I've seen a lot of walleyes come through on the bottom in 6 feet of water.
Joining him today is Paul's good friend, Jerry McCullough, and Jerry swears by Paul's decoys.
They call in fish, boy, I can't believe how well they work. It's quite the adrenaline rush when they show up. Whether they come in slow or fast, it just, I don't know. I've been doing it for 32 years and I still haven't got tired of it. He didn't ruin any meat with that one.
The old saying is keep your foot off the rope and run your decoys high.
Coming up, we'll show you just how good Paul's decoys are as we follow him on a quest for a world championship. Don't go anywhere. Pike Week will be right back.
The Outdoor Report is brought to you by Northview Bank and JT Custom Rods.
This land is beautiful. I'm sure it's great for hunting.
Yep, there's a few really nice bucks around here.
This would be a nice place to build a house.
Oh, I just come out here to hunt and get away from it all.
Hey, you're on my property. Can't you see the sign?
Run!
What? I thought this was your land.
Need your own land? You find it, we'll finance it. Northview Bank. NorthviewBank.com.
Are you looking to up your game? Then get your hands on the new JTX Mag from JT Custom Rods. A cutting-edge carbon fiber blank and nickel titanium alloy guides give you the edge. It's the most sensitive and responsive rod money can buy. Go to JTODP.com, enter the Outdoor Report promo code, and get 5% off your entire order. JT Custom Rods, redefining fishing.
From big waters to the shallows and the whole outdoors, the aluminum rig you've always wanted is here. Packed with features, now you can enjoy the legendary ride, quality, stability, and peace of mind from Ranger. Coupled with Evinrude E-Tech's unrivaled performance and 300 hours with no dealer schedule maintenance, every Ranger aluminum boat is engineered to excel and priced to be yours. Power your Ranger with Evinrude E-Tech.
Hey, you with the cell phone, look up here for a second. As long as you got that thing in your hand, use it. go to the Facebook or the Twitter or the YouTube and look us up. We know your phone is important to you, and believe me, it's important to us too. But we want this show to be as interactive as humanly possible. So if you see a hashtag on your screen, use it. Or go to our Facebook page and post a picture there. Use the hashtag OutdoorReportFish and we'll repost our favorites. Hope you like the rest of the show.
The Outdoor Report is brought to you by Power Lodge, Ranger Boats, and Evinrude.
Paul Sparks describes himself as a spear fisherman who just happens to carve decoys. One year he decided to stop by The Gathering in Perham, Minnesota, the National Fish Decoy Association's annual celebration of the art of the decoy. It's also a place where a world champ is crowned. Paul worked hard to get better, and this past year he had a real shot to earn the top spot.
The competition now is pretty tough, so they look at little detail that'll move you up. It can move you up 2-3 places just by having this fin ray right.
Looks are one thing. However, when it comes to making an effective decoy, the swim matters. And it just so happens the swim is Paul's strength. The road to the championship is long. Paul and his fellow competitors enter their works at various events throughout the winter because a point series is what decides the champion.
It's a whole little subculture that people don't even know exists.
We followed Paul to one of the events in Little Falls, Minnesota.
You know, I just hope to place. I'd like to place in the top 5. We'll see. We'll see. But it's a few butterflies, especially when it gets closer to announcement time.
Events like this are much more than just a competition. It's about keeping a tradition alive.
And people say, you know, that spearing is kind of barbaric, and I say it's more of a heritage thing. I personally haven't speared a fish over 8 pounds in the last 10 years. The conservation ethic is not lost on spear fishermen.
The Minnesota Dark House Association sprang up to kind of be a voice for spears and say, hey, wait a minute, this is a sport too. You can't take away our sport because we're just as legitimate as any other sport. We just take fish differently. But we're still conservationists, we're still, you know, fishermen.
And when you look down that hole, the fish that swim in there aren't guppies. It's very exciting. When just talking about it, the goosebumps are getting on my arm because it is so exciting. It's so visual. When you sit and stare at a bobber, you can go play cards. When you spear, you have to be focused. You have to pay attention.
So these vendors that are here are carvers or dealers in sporting collectible art. And the competition, of course, is trying to keep alive the art of the decoy, the spearing, the fishing, and so forth. So the people like the Fishing Museum, the Minnesota Dark House Association, they're all sisters of ours, and we all work together.
Some of the fish are so detailed, and they look absolutely just like you'd pull one out of the lake. And then you walk up to and you pick up another one, and it's got, you know, like maybe Dennis Bertram's, it's got the big lips on it, or, you know, they're just amazing what people can do.
Paul did pretty good in Little Falls, but up next was The Gathering in Perham, Minnesota.
I had butterflies in Little Falls when we last talked, and now they've turned into eagles because this is it. This is everything, all them months, everything on the line here.
This was the 19th annual event, and it featured some of the legends of decoy carving.
I'll sell a decoy even if I'm on camera here.
Larry Lang has been carving decoys for over 60 years.
Don't be scared to buy a decoy. The carvers are just such a nice bunch of guys. I can't hardly name one that wouldn't tell you everything he knows about making decoys, and I'm the same way.
The future of the sport was on hand as well.
I love it. It's fun. I'm an outdoorsman, so doing this, it's really cool because you can make a piece of wood come alive, the way I think about it.
With the judging complete, it was time for the big announcement. Would Paul be named a world champion?
Missing first place by a mere 62 points from Wadena, Paul Sparks. Had a big run, buddy. Had a big run.
Edging out Paul for the World Championship was Eric Wallace.
I'm fine. I mean, I competed against stiff competition, and I give it all I had, and I'm very happy with second. You know, I'm competing against artists. Like I told you before, just a spear guy that does this for fun. I had a pretty good ride.
So when you think about spearing, keep in mind, it's not all about killing big fish. It's truly an art form and a tradition worth passing on. Speaking of passing on traditions, after the break, we'll show you how Northerns can help keep the kids entertained as Pike Week rolls on.
The Outdoor Report is brought to you by Yamaha Generators and Ottertail Lakes Country.
Want outdoor power that's super lightweight and ultra quiet with world-class dependability and quality? Then you should check out the new Yamaha EF2000i SV2. The I stands for inverter, which means it puts out the cleanest power you can get to safely operate today's sensitive electronics. The V2 means it's a whole new generation.
Hey everyone, it's me, the Inner Otter. Everybody knows Ottertail County, Minnesota is a great place to stay, play, and dine. But did you know there are a lot of great opportunities to live and work here too? Here's an otter one just for you.
Live in the heart of Ottertail County. The cities of Battle Lake, Ottertail, and Henning offer you quality of life, affordable housing, and jobs. For more information or to find your inner otter, visit OttertailLakesCountry.com.
We as avid waterfowl hunters can never get enough storage.
Whether we are traveling to our favorite hunting shack or nearby honey hole, bringing the right equipment is critical to the success and safety of our hunt.
Excel Outdoors provides trailer accessories that meet our needs. Cargo trunks and cargo racks keeps all of our gear really dry and easily accessible.
Excel Outdoors. Organize your life outside.
Once you get invasive species in a lake, that lake becomes less desirable. It only takes one boat going from one lake that has it into a lake that doesn't, and boom.
All the pieces are together to prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species. What we need is you.
It really affects the lake experience in general, and if we can prevent that just by taking these small steps of making sure that your boat's clean and dry, it's worth it to do.
Taking kids fishing isn't always easy, but for Tom Smoody, it's worth the effort.
It's neat to see the kids learn how to fish, and it's neat to teach them how to survive a little, It's neat to see them grow up and bring some fish back. Supper will be good, right, guys? Yeah. What do you got? Oh, there you go. That's a keeper, huh?
Good job, Abby.
Our game plan was to catch a bunch of sunnies. However, they weren't really cooperating. So Tom decided to take what the lake was offering.
What do you got? Oh! You gonna keep it or are you gonna put it back?
Keep it.
And we started trolling for pike.
We're gonna go right on the side of the weed line.
You want a date?
I'm holding on.
I might go in with the fish instead of catching the fish. He might catch me instead of I'm catching him.
Young Mitchell pulled out the lucky lure, and the fun began.
It hit!
The kids took turns, and as we expected, the pike were more than happy to play along.
Wow. There you go, perfect. Reel up a little bit. Oh, look at that. So you're gonna eat it or let it go?
Eat it.
It's relaxing.
What's your favorite fish?
Northerns.
You like northerns?
Yeah.
You like to eat northerns?
Mm-hmm. They're pretty good.
Another nice one. Wow. Ah, just a weed, wasn't it?
Nope, not a weed.
It was in the weeds.
We weren't expecting big fish that day. We were just trying to keep the kids entertained. And for the kids, sometimes the smallest fish produce the biggest smiles.
That's definitely not a keeper. Look at that. My toe is bigger than that.
Soon it was time to head back to shore. And thanks to our friend the pike, we didn't come back empty-handed.
It's time now for some savory goodness. Brought to you by Smoothie's Oil and Chef Robert's Breading.
When it comes to fish fries, it's best to keep it simple. Invite a few friends and neighbors, and don't be afraid to mix in some pike.
This year, I learned how to clean northern without the Y bones in them. And if no one knew it, put in this oil, it would be no different than this sunny you're eating.
We highly recommend using Smoothie's sunflower oil and Chef Robert's gourmet breading mix. Just make sure to get your oil to 350 degrees.
We have a lot of restaurants frying fish with it at that 350 smoke point, and it's been phenomenal.
And you won't need any eggs or milk with the breading.
We just rolled it right around in the batter. So if you're up north without a refrigerator or anything like that, so to keep something cold, milk or anything, it's really nice and handy. Especially if you go to Canada fishing that you're flying in. There you go. Well, let's see what it does here, huh? Looks good so far.
Just make sure you've got plenty of everything on hand. So what did we learn? What's the moral of the story? Well, if you're into catching fish, don't forget about pike. Whether you're looking to bag a trophy, have a fish fry, or just keep the family entertained, the pike provides the perfect opportunity all year round. And of course, don't forget, when it comes to planning that next outdoor adventure, it's not about having time, it's about making time. I'm Eric Osberg with your Outdoor Report.